And Greg, I was talking to Jason earlier, and obviously our visit last week was simultaneously the most emotional and I don't even know if this is going to come out right. My favorite I don't know if I would say it was enjoyable, but it was in the sense that we love you so much, and for you to be that open and vulnerable and really motivating, I guess is the right word. It was just a very special moment for us and for our listeners, and we're indebted to you. And then I asked him, I said, I know we're going to talk football today. I just don't feel right bringing you on with everything you're going through, especially last weekend, without starting the conversation by asking, how are you? So forgive me. How are you?
No, we are going to talk football. I've been studying the New Orleans Saints the last hour and a half to talk to you guys. So to be on a plane to New Orleans today. So
yeah,
I am well. Last week was amazing for me on so many levels. I mean, very close friends of mine and family members have known about my condition, but when you go public, as I did with you guys, there's an outpouring from a lot of different people that you connect with that aid you. I mean, this is, hopefully I'll live 30 more years and have a lot more challenges in my life. But to this point, outside of some issues with my family and my children, this is by far the greatest challenge of my personal life. So knowledge, I always seek knowledge. I'm not an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist, and I want to know. And so the point is that by going public with specifically what I have, so many people have reached out to me in great detail about their forms of leukemia and everything they've faced and all of it. And it's just, it's been a great source of information for me, including Jason. I spoke to Jason and his wife last night about their child and all he went through at birth to his second day he was alive to now. And it's such an uplifting story.
Yeah.
So, last week was hard for me. Just when the Niners were beginning the season in Seattle, I was getting my first real PICC line chemotherapy in my veins. And so all day, Sunday, I got iPads and screens. I rolled in my Stand By Me next to me and watched everything. But it was a hard day. I went through 4 days of hardcore chemo infusion. And then for the first time, so if I kind of waver a little bit today, it's called chemo fog a little bit. Your brain doesn't really fire the way it should. You kind of know what you want to say, but it doesn't always go there.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, Tuesday morning, so I walk out of there like chemo ain't a thing. Nothing's bothering me at all. I've had no reaction at all. They've given me all this for 72 hours. I'm fine. It's just so overrated. And then Tuesday morning, it hit me really hard. And I'm kind of woozy. I'm coming out of it now, the last day and a half. But anyway, Tuesday morning. And so the key thing I've got is this bone marrow stem cell transplant coming. And you got to get a donor. It's either a sibling, and I've got 3 living brothers and sisters left, 2 brothers and a sister, offspring, which is my 5 kids, or an outside donor. And the outside donor pool, what you want is as perfect of a match as possible. The highest they could get to was a 9 out of 12 match. Even from the thousands of people in the registry with the outside donor, it wasn't going to be perfect. So I kind of was resigned. And that's going to be a key, as Jason knows, going through it with his baby boy years ago. The match is critically important for your survival and sustainability going through that transplant. So Tuesday morning, I'm in the chemo thaw for the first time, and my phone rings. And I don't always pick up the phone, especially now, but I do so more now than I used to. But anyway, it was my brother Ron calling. And, your ad there for SunPoint Insurance Adjusters. My brother took my dad's company over. My dad was a public insurance adjuster, one of the most successful in the history of the world, really. Grew a local company in Buffalo, New York, and made it worldwide. And my brother took that over. And he does the same thing that SunPoint does. They're public insurance adjusters. When people lose all their belongings in a fire loss, he's there to help pick it up and and repair them. So he's kind of used to this. So anyway, my brother, and I'm going to get emotional here because my brother calls and I'm in my chemo fog for the first time. And he said, I just got a call from UCSF. For the first time in my life, I got every answer right on a test. I got 12 for 12.
Oh, wow. That is freaking the best news.
He's a perfect match.
Oh, my God. Greg, wow, that's so awesome. Yeah.
Isn't that fantastic?
That's the best news we'll hear all year. That's
Jason knows what that means and I know Jason's wasn't quite that with his son, but it helps. My brother's older.
Sure.
He's 10 years older than me. So there's some issues there, but that certainly helps. So, last week, just coming on with you guys opening up, and I've had, half dozen conversations with people specifically about the bone marrow transplant. So that's the thing we're facing. Anyway, that was tremendous news. And I'll go back in, this weekend and get more chemotherapy and watch the Niners from a hospital room on Sunday. And, but the key thing is, me and my brother, we're very much different, but I guess we're twins right now. We are blood brothers forever. A lot like Brock Purdy and Jake Tunges.
There it
is. You may want to say. You guys want to talk football at all? Or just make people cry for half hour.
Yes,
yeah,
all of it.
That's all of it. Exactly.
Greg, when you're saying that, I'm thinking about like coaches. I've always told you, like if Lou Holtz was always famous for they're playing some weak team. It's like they're going to be the greatest team of all time. Our coaches will tell you respect for the opponent. Based on your story, I now know you have full respect for chemotherapy.
Yeah, for real.
Well, it's hard, and I just started it. I mean, I saw people around that hospital that have had. I think I'm going to get out of it, which is 2 cycles. I got to do an A cycle and a B cycle, right in October. I think right after the 49ers play the Rams on that Thursday night game. I'll go in the next day. But if I get out of it with 2 cycles, when people get 8, 10, 12,
it's pretty good.
It's unbelievable. So I've been blessed. But that transplant will be certainly severe. But no, chemotherapy is it's hard on people. It's just I was talking to Tim Ryan, and Tim is so being a player and having to take everything in that they give you to get on the field. It's just the way, especially his era. He asked me, describe what it feels like. And it's honestly hard to describe. It's poison in your body. It's not good for you. It completely drains your ability to reason, and your overall body just does not function. It's almost like you slip into a coma. Although I've never been in one, it feels that way where your whole body's kind of inert. And then there's different body parts that just all of a sudden feel weird to you when you get like a perpetual brain fog right around your hairline. By the way, I still have my hair. That would be criminal if I lost my hair. That's the
you
one
have a
thing
good
I've
head
ever
of
had.
hair.
Yeah.
If I've ever had in my life over Tim Ryan, the one thing I've always had was a better hair.
You have a great head of hair, Jason.
But anyway, we're fine. People I know, and people, so many people, who's not been touched by cancer? Yeah. I've been my whole life, my whole family, but to have it be touched, by me specifically. So the outpouring, but no, chemo is tough on a lot of people. And I think I'm going to get really lucky where I'm going to have to do maybe 2 cycles of it, where a lot of people have to do 8, 10, 12 cycles.
Let me see if I can
try. Good luck.
How tough, though, is it going to be for the Niners this weekend? Going up against.
Nice segue.
I'm trying, Greg. It's not a good segue. But we want to talk. Obviously, we know you want to talk football too.
Well, you know what? They're going to New Orleans.
Yes.
So any chemo hangover I had is going to be less than a New Orleans hangover I had on many a Sunday morning going to that dark, dank dome. And I know they poured a lot of money in that dome to have Super Bowls in there, but it's old. I mean, that's back to the mid '70s. Kansas City, and they renovated a lot, and Buffalo and Lambeau and Soldier Field have put so much money. So I think it's brightened up a little bit. It's a tough place to play. This could be an interesting game. There's no doubt. And I watch preseason football start to finish just about every year. But this year, I really watched just about every single snap of every team. And I watched a lot of the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, Jay Kaner, local guy from Monte Vista here, family friend. I kept an eye on him and Tyler Shuck, the drafting of Shuck. And this quarterback, Spencer Rattler, they have, is interesting. I didn't think much of him last year, honestly. Derek Carr was there, and Derek missed some games, and he went 0-6. And I don't know what happened with Derek in the offseason, just retiring. By the way, that broadcast from Brazil, Derek was on the pregame show.
We played it.
That may be his calling.
I agree. We played it. It was the greatest thing. He's so and by the way, Greg, were you watching that and thinking it was pissing me off? Give the man a remote control so he doesn't have to push the pause and play button. He was so good at it.
He's so natural. His brother's really good, but Derek's better.
Yeah.
Derek is going to be a television star, and the kind of money they're paying these guys now. Should he be a game analyst? Should he be a studio? If he had a little bit better of a career,
right?
He'd be better than Troy Aikman, who I don't think is the best analyst out there. But football's kind of wanting for someone like that. And Derek, anyway, just stupendous. But Derek's off season was weird. Just winds up retiring, and so now they're kind of. I don't think they went into it thinking the quarterback room would be this inexperienced. Or Rattler's in his second year. Jake's just starting out his second year. They drafted him together. Tyler Shuck's a good-looking prospect, but they're going to be a challenge. This quarterback will run. He's going to zone read a lot. You got Alvin Kamara there. They'll go pony personnel. They'll put the other back in the backfield with him, Kendre Miller. And the quarterback will pull it and run it. And we know historically the Niners do have, at times, issues with running quarterbacks, with design quarterback runs. And if you heat this guy up, he'll break the pocket and run. He's just cagey. I remember one Sunday afternoon preseason game this year I watched. He won the game at the very end. And they were playing a lot because they had to decide between Shuck and Rattler. So Kellen Moore, their new head coach, kind of went back and forth, and they played a lot of snaps. So they're not explosive offensively, but they're gonna stay in it. They're gonna be creative. They got a run-based quarterback, and obviously Kamara and everything he does, and the ability to jump in and out of no huddle. But I think the Niners won't be fooled by that because they can stay in their the defense that's on the field with solid, just line up and play. They don't get too exotic. Olave's the guy you got to worry about. We'll see if they go after Upton Stott a little bit in this game. And on the other side, pass protection is going to be the key. Brock just got hit way too many times in Seattle. I watched the game back a few times, and the first time I watched it live and I watched it back, and I was unaware what play he hurt his toe. It was the play Kyle said when Julian Love hit him, but it could have been like 20 plays. He got hit all game. It seemed like it always was on that toe, and you just can't tag the quarterback that much. And New Orleans, Brandon Staley is their defensive coordinator, which will be interesting. We'll see if Chase Young will play against the Niners on Sunday. He missed their last game with a calf injury. We know him, but they got Carl Granderson on one side. But the matchup to look at is the old Cal Bear, Cam Jordan. I remember calling his games in Berkeley on TV, and what a career. I'm not sure he's a Hall of Famer, but he's damn close, and he will go up against Trent Williams at times, Colton McKivitz at times. Trent's got to play better. That's the worst game I've seen Trent play ever. Washington, and I didn't watch everyone, but I never watched any tape of him where he played as poorly as last game. I don't know what it is. He had the knee, and he missed some practice time this week, so he's got to play better. And that's the one thing. I do like Mac Jones very much. I liked him coming out of school. His rookie year in New England, he was stupendous. There was that one game in Buffalo where it was really windy, and they didn't let him throw at all. But he works the pocket. He goes through his progressions. The one thing with him, there are moments that the 49ers were looking to possibly draft him that year. They took Trey. Yeah. So I watched every snap. He played so well that year in Alabama. There was one, I think it was against LSU, just a highly unathletic play where he got pressured in the low red zone and just turned it into a terrible error. And that's the thing he's got to worry about. And we saw it occasionally in the preseason where it's just a very athletic player, and they're almost all more athletic than him on defense, forces him to twist and turn and get himself in a compromised position. He can make a mistake and a bad one. So he's got to avoid that. So I think pass protection obviously is going to be the key. And then, Staley's a Fangio guy, so I expect them to drop into a 2 safety high cover 4 shell most of the game and give the Niners some room to try to run the football. But the big thing with Mac is just get the ball out on time. And if you have to take a sack or throw it away, take a sack, punt the football. Do not make one of those game-altering, game-losing mistakes where you just get run down by somebody.
Greg, he'd obviously, speaking of Mac Jones, would love to have Kittle. That's another big miss. How do they fill that void, do you think, this week, in the next couple weeks?
Well, you can't. I mean, he's one of the most complete tight ends that's ever played, honestly. I mean, look at the history of football.
Yeah.
Ditka, Gronk, when he was healthy, there's been very few guys that blocked. And he's even different as a blocker than any of those guys.
Yeah.
And then his ability to become a better route runner later in his career, you need 2 or 3 guys to replace him, and I think they'll do that. Luke Farrell will certainly handle the block element. He's fine that way. Jake Tunges, honestly, when the Niners first got him, that was right around the time that, remember Ross Dwelly up in Sacramento?
Yeah.
Was an old first baseman, and I knew his mom well and got to be friends with Ross. And FP Santangelo's son played high school baseball with him, so we knew him well. Guy had great hands. Ross could catch anything. Tunges has hands just like that, but he runs better. He's faster, straight line, and in and out of breaks. He's a better route runner. I saw him right away. Like, well, first of all, how do you pronounce his name? Am I speaking in tongues?
Right.
How do you say this guy's name?
Right.
And it took me a while. Hey, Jake, how do you say your name? Tunges? I think I screwed it up on the first preseason game his first year. But not a surprise. Not a surprise. So he can catch the ball. So I'm not saying, pick him up on your fantasy team.
Sure.
But I'm wondering if you want to stash him and see, because I think he will get the ball. And that's the whole thing. With Kyle, when the Niners ran the league, starting a couple of years ago when they got Christian and, that first game going into Pittsburgh after Nick signed late, it's the 5 eligibles around the quarterback and the 5 offensive linemen. You've got running backs, tight ends, wide receivers. How do you deploy them? The Niners had arguably the greatest quintet of eligibles. And this franchise has had some of the best 5-sums ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Half of them are Hall of Famers. Say whoever you want to say, Stallworth, Swan, Franco, Rocky, name anybody you want to name. You put up Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and by the way, third and Juwan.
Yeah.
You tell me what's better than that. Well, right now, Deebo's gone, Ayuk's gone, Kittle's gone. So it's a whole different. This is going to be where Kyle's got to get clever. Does he use Jake Tunges in obvious passing situations in a detached way, like you would George? They are using Juszczyk more as a tight end. I don't even know who the wide receivers are going to be. Ricky's going to be the guy. But is Juwan going to be healthy? They just got Kendrick Bourne back. I mean, I can't wait to see the both of them line up and play. I mean, they're both insane.
Yeah.
Kendrick Bourne was Juwan before Juwan arrived here. I love KB. Does he know enough to be up and, be eligible to play and play special teams and all of that? And then, one thing you could be creative with, and I mentioned New Orleans will play what's pony personnel or rocket, where you play 2 running backs simultaneously. The Niners could put Brian Robinson out there with Christian. And I've always thought Christian coming out of school would be the next, Brandon Stokely, great slot wide receiver ever. You could just line up Christian and play him more snaps in the slot. You can always do that or motion him. So I think this is where, and Kyle's been so good at playing positionless football, where those 5 positions blur each other and you get into matchups. Some of your best toys are gone. You don't have Deebo, you don't have Kittle, you don't have Ayuk to beat man. So you got to be a little more creative. So I think that'll be interesting to see, how he deploys the 5 eligibles in this game.
When you said that, Greg, those watching on YouTube saw me raise my hands because I've been obsessed with this all week long. Jason will say we've been talking about it. I'm going, okay, these guys, we're in a lot of trouble right now when it comes to injuries and specifically wide receiver. And you mentioned Kendrick Bourne, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Sky Moore, whatever. And I'm sitting here, I'm going, okay, well, maybe he's not Danny Amendola or Wes Welker or Stokely or whatever, but if you've got Brian Robinson, who you brought over, if you've got a healthy Isaac Guerrero, I've been obsessed on this. Why wouldn't Kyle throw Christian out in the slot and like you said, play positionless football? So you have 100,000 times better the football mind than I do, but it's really cool to hear you say that, because I don't want to say it's obvious, but it seems like that should be a lever he pulls.
Well, he has. I mean, go back to when Christian first got here. He had Debo.
Yes.
And Christian. And they are the ultimate chameleons. I mean, Christian is a running back who's more wide receiver than running back.
Yep.
Debo's a wide receiver that's more running back than wide receiver. So what do? And they called it 11 Tyson, and Debo just went and played running back. And then you put Christian in the slot. The thing that was beautiful about them is they would go opposite directions. You'd motion Debo one way, hand it off to Christian going the other, or vice versa. I mean, Debo's not here anymore.
Yeah.
So, but he will do that. There's no doubt. Christian's the ultimate weapon. Now, 31 touches. Come on. That's like, now, a lot of that was just the way Seattle plays, and the middle was open, and all those Texas routes, those angle routes. Tim and I call them the Cali routes, the in-cuts that McCaffrey's so good at was there. But there's no way you can have him touch the ball 31 times in a game. So you're going to have to be a little more discerning. I'm not saying use him as a decoy, but and Robinson he's more downhill, certainly, than the backs they've had here. I've always thought he was a good outside zone runner, but it looks like he's coming down at you. Where J.P. Mason, a few other backs they've had here, Jeff Wilson Jr. when he was here, were ideally suited to that, 3 steps and get downhill outside zone cut that Bobby Turner coaches. So I expect more out of Robinson in this game, but the O-line's got to control the game. They've always got to move them in the run game, obviously. But Mac Jones cannot get hit like this.
Yeah.
He cannot get hit the way Brock Purdy got hit on Sunday in Seattle. Brock got hit way too many times. Brock is clever enough, crafty enough, sneaky athletic enough to run away from it. Mac will struggle in that regard, and then you get into ball security. So the first thing first, especially when you go into a dome, and it's a 10 a.m. kickoff Niners time, so those are always wonky. You got to protect the quarterback.
Yeah.
So you can get all creative with your 5. Hell, sometimes go max protection, punt the ball, don't let the quarterback get tagged, and possess the football. So you got to feel it out and see what you got here. But there's no question it's going to be, and you're always looking at the 5 somebody puts out there because Kyle's so creative that way. But when you're down so many bodies that we're so used to, and not only that, guys just got here. They don't know the full playbook. They don't have to. They just have to know the game plan for this particular game. But you don't want any assignment errors where guys are making mistakes that lead to bust. Either it's off, more in the, well, we're talking on the offensive side, but certainly not on defense. So you certainly want to be creative in this game, but I think you don't want to be overly creative and make mistakes and give them the game. The Niners are the better football team. If they go in there and limit mistakes and block and tackle the way they're supposed to, they should be able to win the game.
That's Greg Papa, a voice we all love to hear, the voice of the San Francisco 49ers. Greg, I'm going to tell you this every week. You'll get tired of it, but thank you so much for joining us. It really is an honor for us, and it's so great to hear your voice, and it's so great to talk football with you.
Without a doubt.
Oh.
So what's the best place? Whenever we go to New Orleans, obviously Cafe Du Monde for the beignets, but those are kind of overrated. The one is the muffaletta from the Central Market.
Central Grocery right there, yeah.
Central Grocery,
yeah.
That would be all.
Yeah, but that's our favorite.
Who has the best muffaletta in Northern California?
Ooh, who makes them?
Well,
somebody send me one at UCSF?
Yes.
So I could have right at 10 o'clock in the morning at kickoff on Sunday.
We got to find one. It's all about the bread. Jason brought one back the last time he was out there. I think it's the greatest sandwich in the world personally.
Phenomenal.
I actually tried making, you know what, Greg? I actually, it was a little lopsided, but I actually made a homemade one about 3 months ago. Did the bread, did the olive salad, did all of the ingredients. So if I can't find one, I'm sure our listeners will help us out. Then I may have to bring one over to you. So
since you made one, just send me one.
That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
I'm waiting for Al Michaels to pull up in the Amazon truck. Way better than a poo boy. Poo boy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all bread. What the hell is that?
That's
about?
what I'm so with
Terrible.
you. And I love how
Brutal.
Greg, after a long and storied football play-by-play career, when that's all over, he can hopefully join us for our weekly food podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
Hold his own for sure.
Yeah.
I think we should do that right now. Brought to you by Sunpoint Realty.
That's
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Have a wonderful weekend,
Thank
Greg.
you, brother.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
You
Thank
take
you.
care.
See ya.
Bye-bye. That's Greg Papa.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was going to say today. I had a wonderful conversation. He said,
Yeah,
he told me about his brother, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal news.
How
Now there's some
great is
concerns
that?
with his brother being older, but at some point you don't want to be too, if you got
Yeah.
a match, you go for that.
Oh,
so
so great. Apologies to Mike Bibby. Best surprise of the day.
there you go.
That was the best surprise of the day. That's
Fantastic
freaking, I mean, obviously not far from out of the woods, but
Right.
all
Yeah.
the good news helps.
Yep.
We'll take a break. If you missed any or all of Greg Papa, available on YouTube in just mere minutes, if not an hour or two. And it's always great to speak to him. Puts a smile on our face, and I hope it does for you as well. What's on deck, along with celebrity birthdays coming up next before we get to Friday fun and games to wrap up the week right after this.